got some more Bible nuggets for you. So many people say we're in the new covenant, but to be honest, a better term for that would be the renewed covenant, because none of God's old covenants get nullified in the Bible. There have been multiple covenants made. There was one with Abraham, there was one with David, there was one with Noah. There are at least 5 covenants in the Bible, and none of them become void because of a new one. And for those of you that follow my page, you know that no matter what covenant you're in, the laws of God always apply to you as your portion to fulfill of the covenant. That didn't change when Jesus came. In fact, I have tons of hours of videos worth of proof of that on this very page. But we can talk about that another time. I want you to check this out with me. Hebrews 9. For when every commandment of the Lord had been declared by Moses to all the people, he took the blood of calves and goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book itself and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the covenant that God has commanded for you. So we see in Hebrews that the sign of purification and the sign of the covenant is sprinkling something with blood and water. And that is what makes it pure before the Father. For instance, Leviticus 14, and shall take the cedar wood and the hyssop and the scarlet yarn along with the live bird and dip them in the blood of the bird that was killed and in the fresh water and sprinkle the house 7 times. Thus he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird and with the fresh water and with the live bird and with the cedar and hyssop and scarlet yarn. Now this is where it gets interesting. John 19. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was finished, said to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. A jar of sour wine stood there, and they put a sponge full of sour wine on a hyssop branch and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, It is finished, and he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. But one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once there came out blood and water. Because of all the trauma our Messiah endured, he had a pericardial effusion. So when they pierced his side, they pierced the effusion, and blood and water came out. So let's review Hebrews 9 again. As the sign of the new covenant, the people were to be sprinkled with blood and water. But 2 additional items are named, hyssop and scarlet wool. And the same things are present in Leviticus 14. Blood, water, hyssop, and scarlet yarn. Well, we know that our Messiah shed blood and water for us. We also know that hyssop was present with Jesus. In Matthew 27, they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him. Through Messiah Yeshua, our Father in heaven renewed his beautiful covenant to purify his people.